Hello, welcome to the HR Diary. Text to column is a powerful Excel feature that allows users to split a single column of data into multiple columns based on specified delimiters such as space, commas, or custom characters. This function is incredibly useful for data cleaning, whether you are dealing with imported data from external sources or need to reformat existing information. Mastering text to column can significantly enhance your data cleaning process, saving time and reducing errors. In this video, I will show you step by step how to use text to columns function in Excel for data cleaning using these 9 examples. Now let's move on to example 1. In example 1, I have a list of employee data, their staff ID, their name, age, and gender. They are separated by semicolon. I want to break them up into separate columns. To do that, select the data, click onto data, and then click onto text to column. Click it, and here you will see the convert to text column wizard. Select delimited, and then click onto next. Here it will ask you what is the delimiter. Delimiter in simple terms is the separator. So here I will tick onto the semicolon, which is this sign here, all right, semicolon, because I want to use semicolon or the semicolon here to split the characters into separate columns, into these separate columns. Then click onto next. For my destination, I will select this C5 because this is where I want the data to be at, and then click onto, you see here is blank, and I will click onto next, finish, click on the finish, and click onto OK. Now, you can see that my staff ID is now in a separate column, name is in a separate column, age and gender are all in separate column. Now let's move on to my second example. In this example 2, I have some addresses here, and they are separated by comma. I want to separate the data wherever there is a comma into separate columns by block, street name, unit number, and postal code. To do this, select this data, go to data menu. Under the data to submenu, there is this text to column. Click onto it, and you will see this convert to text wizard. Select delimited. Delimited refers to characters such as commas or tabs separate each field. So basically, click onto this first and go to next. So my delimiter is comma. So I will untick semicolon and tick onto the comma. So I tick comma because I want to separate the data whenever there is a comma into this column. So if you look at here, you can see the data preview and check that it's separating the data correctly. So this is how I want it to be separated by all the commas, and then click onto next. For the destination, I want it to be here. So I click it here. I want the data to appear from here and click finish. Then they ask you, there's already data there. Do you want to replace it? Yes. So you populate all here. So the address now, instead of in one column, it is now in separate columns by block, street name, unit number, and postal code. So I went through semicolon and comma. Now let's go on to the dash example. In this example, I have some job codes and they are separated by the dash here. I want to separate the data whenever there is dash into separate columns by specialization title and career level. To do this, select this data, go to data, go to data tools, click onto text to column. So you see the convert text to column wizard. Select delimited, click onto next. Right. Now, this dash, you don't see it in the standard delimiters. You see tab, semicolon, comma, space, but you don't see dash. So what do? We select other, untick this, and other, let's type in the dash. And you see here. So if you scroll down to here, you can see the data preview to see whether it's separating the data correctly by the dash into separate columns. So it looks good. And let's click on to next. So for the destination, I want it to, the output to be, I don't want it here. It will delete away this data. I want it here from here. So I have clicked onto this destination and let's click onto finish. So it tells me there's already data there. Do you want to replace it? There's actually no data here. So I just click OK. And you have it here. So my job code is now in separate columns by specialization title and career level. Now let's move on to example 4, full stop. In example 4, I have some job codes separated by full stop. I want to separate this data whenever there is a full stop into job family code, sub-job family code, specialization code, and career level code. So to do this, select this data, go to data, click onto text to columns, and select delimited, click onto next. Full stop is not one of the standard delimiters. It's not tab, not semicolon, not comma. So we go to others and type in the full stop. So in this data preview, you can see that the data is nicely separated into columns using the full stop delimiter. Now let's click on to next. And where to output the data? B5 is here. No, I don't want to replace here. I want to change it here. I'll put it here. All right. Then click on to finish. There's data here. Do you want to replace it? Yes. And there you have it. My job code is now separated by columns by job family code, sub-job family code, specialization code, and career level code. Let's move on to the 5th example. In example 5, I have a list of names. I want to separate it by the space into first name and last name. So to do this, we again select the data, click onto text to column, and click delimiter, click next, and space is one of the standard delimiter. So we just click onto space, and there you see in the data preview, it's separating it correctly whenever there's a space. Click onto next. For the destination, B5, no, I don't want it to output here. I want it to output here. So you click here and click on to finish and OK. And we've finished example 5. Let's move on to example 6, N. So in this example, I have some data separated by N, this N, and I want to break them up whenever there's an N. So similarly, select this data, click onto text to column, delimited. Click on to next, and N is not one of the standard delimiters. Click on to others, type in the N, click on to next. Destination, I want it to output here, so I click onto here and click on to finish and OK. So my data, the names are now separated by first name and last name. So next, in example 7, sometimes you have an email and they're separated, and they have this email is like ntan@gmail.com. So here I want to separate the data into separate columns whenever there is this sign, okay, into username and email domain. So to do this, we select this data, click text to column, delimited, click onto next, and tick others, and here change it to add. Click next. Destination, I want it here, and click finish and OK. So now you have it. The email is now separated into separate columns by the username as well as the email domain. So now let's move into something more different. All right. So we went through this 7 example. Let's go into fixed width. And here we have some fixed width example. So in example 8, my data here is all compressed in one column, but they are actually unlike columns with spaces. So with ID, there's a space, followed by name, and then there's a space. You see? So there is a space at a certain interval. All right. So I want to break these alike columns with spaces into actual columns, into these actual columns by ID, name, age, and gender. To do that, I will need to highlight the first column where all my data is. Click onto text to column. This time, select fixed width, not delimiter. Right? Select fixed width. So in fixed width, the fields are aligned in columns with spaces between each field. So see, there are spaces within each fields. Click on to next. You will see the ruler. This screen lets you set the field widths, and these lines here signify the column break. So this is the column break, column break, column break. So you have 4 columns here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I double click this line, the line goes away. So I can click back here again, and a column break is created. I can click here as well, so you can create column breaks. Let's double click to remove this again. So this looks correct. This is the ID, this is the name, this is the age, and this is the gender. So if this is correct, click onto next. All right. And for the destination, I want it to be output here. And click onto finish. Oops. What is wrong? Oh, all right. This is, you can't add this to. Let's delete this. My destination, I just want it to output here. And click finish. Yes, I want to replace the data there. All right. So I have split the data here in one column into 4 columns: ID, name, age, and gender. So in my next example on column width, all the characters are also compressed in one column, but this time there is no space between the characters. Here there's space, but here there isn't any space. And I want to separate the first 2 characters. I want the characters, the AB, in one column and the numbers in the next column. So to do that, we first highlight the first column here where all the data is. Go to Data menu and click the Text to Column. Now, let's select the Fixed Width and click onto Next. You will see a ruler. This screen lets you set the widths, the column widths. This time, Excel did not propose any column separators, unlike the example on top here, because there is no delimiter like space or comma here. So, if I want AB to be in one column and the rest to be in another column, what I can do is to click here. So when I click here, just after the second character, I'm actually creating a column break after the second character, right? So now, let's click on to next. For the destination, I want it to output here, right? And this is in general format. This is correct. This is also in general format. So it's correct. They are not date format. So this is fine. And let's click on to finish and use and take a look. All right. So now you have seen I have split it into separate columns. Now what's next? So I went through this 7 example. We'll go do something different now. In example 9, text tab delimited file. So in this example, I will show you how to import and convert a text tab delimited file into an Excel file. So let me show you here. Open this file and let's enlarge it. Here I have a text tab delimited file with name, join date, and gender. They are all separated by tab. Right? Tab. And this tab is a common delimiter or separator. A text tab delimiter file is a plain text file where data is organized into rows and columns like this, with each column separated by a tab. The purpose of a tab delimited file is to store structured data in a plain text format that can be easily read and manipulated by software programs. So, how do you convert this into Excel with columns and rows? To do that, open any Excel spreadsheet or just go to this Excel spreadsheet. Then go to File, Open, all right, and browse the file. You won't see the file here because here is only showing all Excel files. So click here, change it to all files. Here, it appears here, all right? When I change it to all files, so I search for this is the file that I save. I name it as text delimited file. Click onto it and click open. All right. So you will see this text import wizard, and Excel will ask you to choose a file that best describes your data. So my data is separated by tabs and is delimited. All right. So I'll click on delimited as characters such as commas or tabs separate each field. And I want it to start import from it at row 1. And I'll take on to this my data has headers. As my data has headers. Click on to next. And you will be brought into this screen. So tick tab as my data is now separated by tabs. Then click As you can see, the preview here is doing up nicely. Click on to next. So this screen lets you select each column and set the data format. So my first column here is text. So I will select text. This column here, second column, is date. So I will change it to date. And the date format is here is in day, month, year. So it's not month, day, year, it's day, month, year. So I'll select this day, month, year format. And the third column is text. So I will select text and then click on to finish. Okay, let's expand this column. And here, your text tab delimited file, this text tag delimiter file is now imported and converted into this Excel file, and the name, join date, gender are now all separated by columns. Alright, so that's it. In this video, I have shown you how to use text to columns in Excel for data cleaning. Thanks for watching. If you're not a subscriber, click down below to subscribe so that you get notified about similar videos that we upload. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the HR Diary channel.